All right. So, um, to explain this topic is something that I've experienced a couple of days ago, and I never paid attention of this until today. I have a closer reflection on this, and when newly arrived migrants, when they come, they're specialized in certain industry, or they're good at any certain industry, and when they do, the gossip spread like disease, and they take over a certain industry, and it becomes an image brand for them. For example, not being generalizing, when I say taxi, you think of Indians or Arabs. And when you say accountant, you say this. When I say this, you say that. When you hear or see workplace that is dominated by a monoculture, that is something wrong. Because a Western country, multiculturalism, open their arms and let out everyone to come in and share the same experience. But once they create the image and the brand on a certain industry or certain jobs or certain company, it's impossible for you to step in the hierarchy triangle or be bottom of the triangle. Now, it's common when you see jobs like that, and it happens all single race and genders, right? But I'd like to share this story to you guys. This happened Tuesday. So today was the 30th of March, and it actually happened on the 26th of March. Now, I have been back to job interview or job hunting for a very, very long time. And that was my first job interview for that reason, for a very long time. And it was 10 o'clock appointment. If your interview, try to get there early, try to be punctual. So I got there 9:53. The interview lasted within less than 5 minutes, literally. And before I went to the interview, I did a bit of research on the company, right? That's why you have to answer why do you apply for this role? You know, why do you apply for this company? That's one of the job questions. And obviously you explain, just for example, for this job, right? I could see that based on your story that you stated as a family business, you stated your company has worked with a very, very small organization, and after a decade later, you guys spread it wide out with many facilities around within your organization. It shows how it has been improved and satisfaction with good rating and good reviews from your workplace. And I like to be part of the team and add my skills to contribute and make the company even stronger. Okay, so you kind of understand what I'm saying. But what pisses me most off is when you do this research, you find out who's the manager, who's this and who's that. Their last names are very, very English, prestigious last name. And I'm only going to say the last name, I'm not going to say the first name. And the last name was Samuel. Husband and wife is Samuel. And I'm not going to say what's the ethnic, because this might come back, bite me up the ass, where you guys may see it. But when I went to the interview, it's a complete different person. Because you honestly thought those who has an English last name, and when I met the person doesn't have an English accent or Australian accent, I asked myself, why would they have that? They search it up. Their husbands are turns out to be it's not white Australian or English, right? And they take advantage on assimilating the culture, getting rid of their first name and their last name to a very, very English last name and first name. To me, I got no against those who change their first name to English, but their last name, come on, man, you got to be proud where you're from at the end of the day. And even if you do put your last name as an English name, when I walk into this workplace, all I see is their own kind of people. So the hierarchy. And I'm starting to question myself. What's the chance of me getting hired there? Now, the industry is aged care, all right? Now, so I didn't get a certificate because I only got like 1 day volunteer left for my job, for my course, and that's it. And I'm finished. I'll wait for 1 more month just to get my certificate. When I went for the interview, I explained to her, and she said, you need to come back once you get a certificate. And I'm just down like, this does not make sense. When it comes to volunteer, even though I'm in studying the course, I'm ready towards the end of the course, just 1 day placement, and I'll get the piece of paper. No, she said, until you get that piece of paper. Now, for those who live in Australia will understand that there's a Royal Commission is banging on aged care at the moment. So she said, my staff who has a few years experience working in this industry. Now, for those who doesn't know about aged care, back in the days, aged care, you have to study 3 weeks and you can get a job, or 3 months you get a job. But now it's getting too strict that my course is doing 9 months. Legitimate, try to minimize all this elderly abuse and what is going on with the aged care. There's so much going on. Yet, this manager tells me she wouldn't hire me unless I do volunteer. Hello, I already did 120 hours volunteer. It's part of my course, and you still want me to do volunteer. There's a reason behind, which is called work probation. So, if I filed that complaint to Fair Work Australia, that organization will go very deep trouble. And I've checked the organization, with how the government funded 30 million for the services and things like that. And me being Australian born, she was asking what's my status. And being Australian born, I don't think she liked to hire me. But the fact is, the moral of the story is, the industry is dying for qualified workers, not coming from a dodgy education. Yet this organization is willing to hire someone who has few years experience with a dodgy qualification, where they clearly know that the Royal Commission is banging really hard, making you to sack workers who has a dodgy education, even though they have 5 or 10 years experience, doesn't matter. And this is what I said, this whole multiculturalism and people like that discriminate in a in in a field that is not dominated in the monoculture. They try to be equality, they try to be diversity. But I didn't get hired because I'm not one of them or the culture. And this is where this is where the stepping stone hates. And you know how university nowadays are pointing fingers on white people, not hiring other people or other diversity groups. Because they opened their arms when we came to this country and when we took over their industry, the hierarchy, and exploit the hell out of it like disease. Slowly, multicultural, many companies are hiring with their own kind. And it is sad, it is really sad, but fortunately, that's the truth of the reality of the society. And this is why I said, they may be stimulated in one suburb or into one suburb, image, housing, schooling, tutoring, same place. And it's going to create a very subdivided area. You go to this suburb, it's Indian. You go to that suburb, Chinese. You go to that suburb, Indonesian. That's what I said. That's when you begin to see dysfunctional. And it sucks, right? I'm just giving that job because I didn't get hired. Clearly, I am qualified for it, and I can get able to get the transcript, but they wouldn't hire me because I have no experience. The end. So if they hire their own kind with no experience, they most likely hire them over me. They most likely hire someone who has a dodgy qualification, has few years experience than over me, where the Royal Commission is banging really hard. So that's one of the dysfunctional part of the multiculturalism. So yeah, that's the video.